So we're talking unit price. I'm going to add a bunch of notes to this page, so just follow along. This is on page 26. Okay. I want you to think of unit price, right? I want you to think of the cost of one. Okay, so that's the unit price is how much does it cost for one item, right? For one unit, 1 cup, 1 ounce, 1 gram, 1 can, whatever it is. And there it is again, right? So you can highlight this. I would strongly recommend you have this on your study sheet, because imagine 2-3 units down the road, you might forget, right, the cost of one. And I will work through I will add some items here, right? So first of all, unit price is always going to be equal to the cost of, what are we talking about, in dollars, right? So this is going to be in dollars divided by the quantity. How many are you buying, right? That's essentially the formula for unit price. Cost divided by quantity, right? Dollar amount up divided by how many are you buying. If you and so I would have, cost of one, right? Unit price, cost of one, unit price formula. I would have that on my study sheet somewhere under the first square that you're doing, the first quadrant you're using. Okay. When items are sold in quantities of more than one, the unit price indicates how much one of the items costs. For example, if you buy a package of 3 pencils, right, the unit price is the price of 1 pencil. However, right, sometimes it is more beneficial to find the cost, so write this down, of 100, right? Example, right? You find, how many dollars is it? $1.29 per 100 grams, right? So if you buy ham or anything by the deli or something that you need to weigh, most likely a store will have it per 100 grams. It will not have it per gram, because it's just, right, it's such a small, it'll be like 0.012 of a dollar, right? Like it's just so small, so it's better to write it per 100 grams. Okay, so I need you to know that, because this unit right now just says, hey, it's always out of 1. You can, but sometimes it's more beneficial to do it out of 100. Okay, so here we go. So the first example, I'm going to add more down here, so don't use too much. If a carton of 1 dozen eggs, right, I hope you know that a dozen is 12, right, costs $2.29, how much are you paying for 1 egg? So they're actually asking you, what is the unit price? Right? What is the unit price? It's another way of saying that. So we know that unit price is cost divided by quantity, which is $3.29, right? That's how much this costs for 12 eggs. And you essentially just go ahead, just take $3.29 and divide it by 12. Okay. And that's, watch this, it's 0.27. Okay. So 27 cents per egg. This is what we do, right? We write it like that. This for 1 egg, right? So you should be able to use both of them. You will see later on that when I'm comparing it with a different product, like a different brand of eggs, let's say, I would actually I would do 4 decimals. I wouldn't round it to 2, but this is what it is right now. Okay, so I'll make a note here. So I'm going to teach you how to comparison shop and how to find out which store is indeed giving you a better deal, right? Some of us go to No Frills, then we go to Safeway, then we go to Sobeys or whatever, right? And you're trying to compare which one is now the best deal because we always want to get the best deal, right, for our money. And so that's, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to do one of these around it. Just a little note that you need to keep in mind. Okay. So example 1A. So this is example 1, this is 1A. Let's do some calculations. If a 680 gram piece of ham costs $7.68. So we're going to do per gram and per 100 grams. We're going to do them, we're going to calculate them both, okay? Yeah. Okay, so we have a 680 gram for this much. So how would we find per gram? They're essentially asking us to find the unit price. So we're going to take the cost, always the cost, okay? Cost divided by the quantity, and that is, just go 7.68. Go ahead and do that, right? 6.68 divided by 680. And watch what I'm going to do here. I'm not going to round it to 2 decimals just yet. 0.011, and I'm going to truncate it here so that 2 will bump to a 3 because of the 9, okay? So it's that much per gram, right? So for 100 grams, right, we will do 0.0113, right? We'll just multiply that by 100, because if this is what it is for 1 gram, then we'll just multiply it by 100. So what do we get there? It's going to be $1.13 per 100 grams. Okay, so this is the price per 100 grams. This is the price per gram. Listen to this. Let's say you always want to do 4 decimals. As long as you round correctly, you will not lose any marks. Okay, but it's 2 or more. That's always the rule. Okay, let's do example 1B. If a 2.25 kilogram can of coffee costs $12.99, what is the unit price? what would be the unit price? Remember, the unit price stands for the cost of one. The cost of one what in this case? We're talking kilograms. So we're going to find the price of 1 kilogram, right? So essentially asking price per kilogram. Okay? So the same thing applies. Unit price is cost divided by quantity. And so we go $12.99 divided by 2.25, and that's 5.773 repeating, okay? But in this world, right, when it comes to money, stores rounded to 2, right? And that's per kilogram. This is the unit price in this case. Okay. It's easy as that. So now, if you go to page 27, let's do a little bit of work before I give you more notes, okay? So go to page 27 and do that, just that page there. Just do page 27. Those, what is it, 3 questions? And I know the wording is a little weird, so if you're stuck on 1 or 2, that's fine. Just give it a try. All right, I'm gonna go through this. Okay, so they're asking for the unit price. This is the one thing that I haven't solved this ahead of time. So this is 85 cents per apple, right? Just go cost divided by quantity. You get that as your answer, okay? Kitchen manager, and you buy 1,000 coffee cups for this much. So again, they're asking for the unit price, 1 cup, right? So again, it's 94.83 for 1,000 cups. And that's 94.83 divided by 1,000. And that is 0.09483, right? Which we would just say per cup. Okay. This might have confused you. The B part might have confused you a little bit. Frank is a locksmith who owns his own business. He buys a case of 144 bulk brass padlocks for $244.97. He sells each lock for this much. So he buys a few and then he obviously sells them individually to his customers. So first we're going to figure out the cost of each lock for Frank. So the unit price per lock would be $244.97 divided by 144 locks, right? And this is dollars. So 244.97 divided by 144, that's 1.70 per lock that it's costing him. Right? This is the cost to Frank, right? So he's a locksmith. Obviously, he's into making money. We all need to make money, right? So we would, obviously, if you buy it for this much, you would never sell it for the same to your customers. You would, right? Final consumer pays more, right? So profit is, I don't know if you're familiar with this, how much did he make? How much does he make per lock when he sells one lock? Well, profit would be, right, what you sell minus cost. The amount you sell it for subtracted by the cost, and you sell it for $5.50 and it costs you $1.70 per lock. So that is your profit, whatever you keep at the end of the day. So it's 3.80 per lock of profit. Okay, so you're making 380 for every lock that you sell. So profit is perhaps somewhat of a new, I know that you know that that's money, making money, but really the profit is, right? If you, let's say this is the item you're buying, right? And you pay $5 for it, the store had to pay something to its supplier, and so the profit is here, right? This is the cost, and this is the selling price, right? So if it costs you $2, then the profit would be $3, so to speak. So they still add up to the total cost of the item that you're buying it at the store, but there's a profit component to it. Okay. All right. Let's add some notes to page 26B. Sorry, 26A. So you got to go a little further back, and it says 26A. So we're going back a little bit. As I was looking through this booklet, I find that they're not defining their terms very well. Okay, keywords. So 26A looks like this. Past 26. So if you're on page 26. All right. So we've got wholesale price. Write this down, okay? The cost so wholesale price is the cost of an item to the retailer, right? To the owner, right? It's a small business, right? It would be the owner. And then we've got retail price. I'm going to try to hurry because we're running out of time. The cost of an item to the consumer. Consumer is you and I, right? Like we go to the store, we are the consumers. So the retail is how much it costs us. And so the profit is the amount profit is also known as markup. This is a formula here. To get the profit, you just take the retail minus the wholesale. Okay, so Superstore, all these big companies, all these stores that you go to, they bought everything you see on their shelves at a wholesale price. What you are seeing on the tag, that's the retail price. So sometimes when they say they have a sale, they're like, yeah, selling everything out at wholesale prices. They're actually lying to you, right? Although they make no money if they were to do that, but it sounds so good, right? It's like, oh, it's wholesale prices. I'm going to go and buy it, right? They still put some money on there so that they can actually make a profit, okay? You know what, folks? This will be it. I won't assign any homework. You've done a lot. You've written down a lot. You paid attention. That's all I'm asking for now. So just make sure everybody, I see a lot of you online, make sure you join every day during slot C. So on an even day, right? Sorry, odd day, it's right after lunch. Even day is 2:10. So just mark that down. Look it up on your calendar. I try to send out a reminder just before, but you need to stay on top of that, all right? So online folks, you can sign out. Have a good day. Everybody here, just wait for the bell, okay?